everybody, this is Leticia coming to you again today for another edition of my weekly Money Matters webinars. And as announced a bit earlier today, today's topic is creating meaningful wealth by building your online business. And I have the pleasure of having as my guest today, John Patrick Mueller. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right. John is somebody I had the pleasure of connecting with recently here in beautiful Playa del Carmen. And it's just one of the things I love about living here. I get to meet really wonderfully inspiring people who are up to creating beautiful, positive change in the world. John is a former Buddhist monk and counselor who helps other healers and coaches grow their online businesses from the startup phase to 5-figure months. He has owned a digital marketing agency, and when he launched his own spiritual coaching business, he got almost 40 clients in his first month, some of whom joined his higher level year-long programs. He now coaches Lightworkers to rise as leaders and create meaningful wealth through his secret method, which he calls presence marketing. And he'll be happy to share some of these secrets with you and with us. So, John, first of all, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to our show.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
My pleasure, John. And you know what, the reason I figured today's topic is an important one is because many people in this, especially in current times, in this COVID era, people are looking to transition to online businesses. If they don't have an online business already, people are looking for ways to make money online. And if they have an online business already, people are looking to grow it. And I think it's a very relevant topic, and I love what you're doing, and I love that your niche is actually specializing in people who are bringing more positivity, more light into the world. And I think a lot of my audience are those types of people. So, and by the way, some of the people will be joining us live. Some people will be watching this after the fact. Rest assured, we'll be spreading the word about today's webinar. So John, first of all, I was going to ask you, today's topic is creating meaningful wealth. So may I ask, what does that even mean to you? Because it's one thing to just say creating wealth, but when you say creating meaningful wealth, what do you mean by that?
What does that mean? Question. So my background is as a Buddhist monk, and I spent many years of my life just focusing on inner wealth, right? Positive states of mind like love, compassion, peace, concentration, wisdom, patience. And I spent like 6 years where I did pretty much nothing but focusing on these, like in deep meditation, in spiritual community, and so on. And so this is what you can call like inner wealth, and this is spiritual wealth. And at some point I wanted to learn how to take what I had gained and turn it into like an online business where I was helping other people to cultivate those things too. Okay. And eventually I created a spiritual coaching business. I got myself about 40 clients in my first month.
That's incredible.
It's incredible. Now they weren't all high ticket clients, but some of them bought like bundles of sessions, and 2 people did join like a year-long program. And so it was a good first month. And this is just an example of what we can do when we have something positive happening on the inside. Hey, Tamara, how are you?
Hi, Tamara.
I work with people who are similarly spiritually inclined, where they want to make sure that their business and their spiritual practice are moving in the same direction. That was so important to me, and I think that's to the people who I want to work with, is that their spiritual practice is over here, right, and their business is over here. We don't want them to feel like they're pulling in different directions. For someone who's very spiritual, that would be like a nightmare. That's a nightmare for someone who's spiritual. So what we want to do is make sure that they're both moving in the same direction, and they come together. And they can if it's all service oriented, and if you're helping people to live better lives, right? So for me, meaningful wealth is just something that says it's wealth that's going in the right direction. It's having meaningful experiences and creating wealth at the same time. And you're helping other people to have more meaningful lives. So,
I love it.
Yeah, that's one way of describing meaningful wealth.
Thank you. Thanks very much, John. And I guess what comes to mind is, I myself have been on a spiritual path for a very long time. I mean, probably since I was a child. I felt very called to, learning about what's really going on in the world and who am I and what am I doing here. And I remember even being, 18 and just having a big kind of like soul revolution and a lot of inner conflict. And one of the things that I was in conflict about was, how can I be a spiritual person and at the same time have wealth in the world? And it's sad, and maybe you've come across this yourself, that a lot of people who are spiritually inclined somehow fall into the way of thinking that you have to forfeit material wealth or kind of commit to living only an ascetic type life and not have material, physical wealth manifested in this reality. And I have to be honest, for a while, I myself kind of fell into the trap of thinking that way. And then I remember reading, T. Harv Eker's book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And that book was a mind shift moment for me, because I realized if I actually want to make a positive difference in the world, having resources will be helpful for that. And it doesn't have to be either or. You can have both. That was like the biggest mind shift for me, that I could have both. And since then, I've been attempting to live my life in all ways, in which I can have both. Every time I'm faced with a decision, should I go to this event or that event, or should I do this or that? I'm like, how can I have both? Because if I really want both things in my life, for example, I want to be a mother, and at the same time, I am already a mother, and at the same time, I want to be active in the business world, have a career. I can have both, and how can I have both? I always ask myself. So is part of what you do also kind of convincing spiritual people that you can have it all? And like, does this resonate with you, what I'm saying?
It does. Oh yeah, for sure. It resonates. So that question, how can I have both, is a really good question. And it sort of overcomes the false thought that we can't, right? There's some people have the thought, and to be honest, I don't really do a lot of explaining or convincing anymore. If people are, for me, they're coming and they're very spiritual and they're just like, well, they think they're spiritual. They're not actually that spiritual, but they think they are. And they're like, well, I can't make any money because then I wouldn't be spiritual anymore. That's not the right way to think, right? It's putting certain identities, it's very ordinary identities, as part of our spiritual practice. Some people like create spiritual identities for themselves, and it's funny that they think that makes them more spiritual, but actually makes them less spiritual that they do that. And this identity doesn't feel comfortable making money. They feel like it would be conflicting to that identity if they made money, right? Wow. Whereas what you said is more true, where it's like, if you have money, you can do more, right? Money is spiritual. Money is spiritual. Spiritual energy.
That is so fascinating. That, I don't think I've ever had anybody say that on a show, like money is spiritual, money is spiritual energy. Yeah. So that's, we could go deeper into that, I'm sure. I guess one of the questions I have is mindset one of the things that you work on with your clients? Do you find like, is that kind of like, what do you, first of all, you help people to build their online businesses and attract high ticket clients, okay? You have a niche that specializes in people who are in the healing world, in the healing arts, if I understand correctly, but also people who are coaches, people who are wanting to have a spiritually aligned business, people who are bringing goodness into the world, right? So I guess my question is, what are some of the, because I mean, there are so many things we could talk about, but what are some of the key steps that you find, or key areas that you support people in, and perhaps what do you find? And I'm guessing mindset could be one of them. You can tell me that. And what are some of the areas that you find people perhaps have a hard time in terms of building their online business? Everybody wants to have an online business. Everybody wants to build. Well, where do you find people are stumbling the most, perhaps?
Yeah, thank you for that.
That was a long question.
It's a good question. There's five. Sorry, I'm getting some echo.
Yeah, so five
There's
areas.
five main parts. Okay, so the first one we call alignment. Alignment is the first one, and that's where we do most of the mindset stuff. And what
Okay.
we call it is people getting onto their higher mission, their higher calling. There's like a soul's mission that they want to answer that call, right? Our business isn't just a business, it's actually an expression of our soul's mission. That's the only thing I do. I don't help people who are doing something other than that. If you want to work with me, it's got to be your soul's mission expressed as a business. That's it. I don't help people. Yeah, that's number one. So we have a whole class about that, a whole curriculum about how to find your soul's mission, how to find the essence of it, and then how to translate that into your business. Okay, so that's number one. And a lot of the mindset shifting happens there, but it doesn't end there. There's mindset shifts that happen throughout the whole program. For example, you mentioned that I help people with get high ticket clients, right? Have a high ticket business. Now, selling high ticket is mostly a mindset thing, right? High ticket sales, normally you define as anything over 2,000 or more, right? Whereas I let my clients do 1,000 sometimes, and that's okay to start. But generally, like 2 to 3 to 5 to 10,000 is like, normally called high ticket, and it's mostly mindset and energy that is going to sell that for you. And somebody who is still buying low ticket, like someone, for example, if you wanted or somebody wanted personal growth. Now, some people don't want to spend $2,000 to $5,000 on personal growth in a program. They'd rather spend $50 on 3 different programs and not really get the result that they want. So some people are more like addicted to spending a little bit of money and not getting the result. And they haven't learned yet that they could spend more and actually get the result. And so some people are stuck in the low ticket buyer mindset, and so graduate to more of a high ticket buyer mindset. And if you have, then, and people who join my program have, because my program is a high ticket program, it's not inexpensive, right? It's not super cheap, but there's payment plans that make it easy, but it's easy by itself. So like someone who joins my program has graduated to a high ticket buyer program, buyer mindset. And that means they have a mindset where they can sell high ticket. They can. Now it doesn't.
That's interesting. So just, oh my God, like you're bringing up so many interesting follow-up questions. So would you say that somebody who's willing to invest in a high ticket program, is that kind of, does it go hand in hand with also being able to attract a similar caliber type of client?
Yes, it does.
Do you really think so? Like, I am wondering,
Yeah, there's a phrase, we sell like we buy. Now, sales is part of this, right? Sales is part of my coaching because I help them to build a high ticket business, which means they have to sell. They have to be the ones selling their program, right? If they were just marketing like an Amazon website or Shopify selling crystals, they don't need to sell anything because the website would sell it. But that only works low ticket. If you're selling high ticket, it has to happen on the phone or some kind of one-to-one call like Zoom or something. It has to happen in a one-to-one conversation if it's like $2,000 or more. And so I have to teach my clients how to sell. That's part of my program, is learning to sell. And sales is very much mindset and energy. It's like almost entirely mindset and energy, although obviously there's strategy. And one cool little phrase that can help is we sell like we buy. And we have to start to notice the ways that we buy, and that will give us some education as to the ways that we can start to sell. And if somebody isn't willing to spend $2,000, they won't be able to sell $2,000 usually. Does that make sense?
That's very interesting. Yeah, John, it makes sense because I feel like there's a reciprocity in the universe, and I mean that's just what that's just what came to me. There's a certain energy balancing going on. So, $2,000 may seem like a lot of money to one person, but when $2,000 no longer feels like a lot, it's like, yeah, I'm worth it. I'm worth this investment in myself. Therefore, I'm worth it. Therefore, I can also sell something like this because I'm worth it, right? Like oh man, it's fascinating, I have to say. So you covered, because I just want to kind of keep us on track in the interest of time. You said first you work on alignment with people. So that's part one of growing an online business, a successful, meaningful online business. And then part two, did we cover part two already? The sales?
Hey, yeah, no.
No.
The second thing that is the marketing. And so the marketing, the behind the scenes marketing, there's different types of marketing. There's the marketing that happens behind the scenes. We call it.
Oh man, I hope I don't lose you.
It's
Can
like,
you hear me? Can you hear me still, John?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
So marketing. Go ahead.
We call it presence marketing. Okay, so presence marketing has these two stages. There's infrastructure and there's magnetism. Okay, so the infrastructure is like building your offer, crafting your story, learning all the behind the scenes parts of your marketing and finding your message, finding the right way to communicate, finding what is your program. There's all these different behind the scenes pieces of building your marketing. And then there's the next phase, number 3, is called magnetism. And that's where you bring people to it. You bring people to your workshops, you bring them onto your calendar, you bring them to your webpage, you bring them into your online community, you bring them from social media somewhere else. And I use only free methods. So I don't teach my clients ads. I don't even teach them websites. We don't need ads and we don't need a website. We don't even need a funnel. We need social media and we need Zoom, PayPal, Canva, and a calendar. That's all I use in my business. There's only 5 tools: Zoom, PayPal, Canva, social media, calendar. There's only 5. It's very
got it.
Yeah. So like you don't need to spend money on ads or websites. You can bring people from social media for free into the things that you're doing, onto your calendar and into your workshops. That's basically the things that we do. Okay, so that's number 3.
I think my internet's a little unstable. So okay, so that was 3, magnetism. Okay, I have lots of follow-up questions, but I want to get you let you go through your 5 steps, and then I'm gonna see if we have some time for questions. Okay. Go ahead.
Number 4, we've already talked about, and we call it intuitive influence, and that's selling. Intuitive influence is sales.
Wow, I like how you call that.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? And that's what I teach. I don't teach them sales. I teach them intuitive influence, because all sales is influence, but we tap into our intuition in order to do it better, right? And we're only using our influence for good. We're using our influence powers for good. Okay. And stage number 5 is just expansion, right? Expansion and building your team. So just like anything, during using the first 4 steps, you will have success. We can get people to 5-figure months.
My internet.
We can get people to 5-figure months using the first 4 steps. And then the next step is expansion. That's where you build systems and teams and your website. Like you can do other things. So anyway, that's stage number 5.
Got it. Amazing. It all makes sense. And the fact that you have these 5 steps, I feel like they could keep people on track, because I feel like when you're self-employed, when you're building a business, what I've run into is feelings of overwhelm. So, I myself have started working with a coach recently to help me just kind of stay on track with my goals and get out of the overwhelm, because I feel like that's, I don't know, it's a killer. The overwhelm, like when I feel overwhelmed, I feel like I can't do anything. Like I just feel stuck. And of course, I'd like to get out of that so that I can actually make some progress. So I like that you place some structure around what it's like to actually build an online business, and do so in a meaningful way, like with the values that you've stated. Because I feel like when you put some structure into it and you break everything down into those bite-sized pieces, it can remove overwhelm that somebody might feel, someone like myself, Would you agree with that? Was that part of the intention, like putting some structure around this whole idea? Because people think, oh my God, I got to build my business. How do I even go about it? So
yeah, it is. And in my program, I have groups, I have one-to-one, both. And so the groups are like the structured part, right? So yeah, you're right. We have all these pieces into structure, and people are we help them figure out what piece they need next, and they go to those groups, and they also get the one-to-ones. And on the one-to-ones, the private sessions, that's where they talk about the overwhelm, and that's very common for people to feel overwhelmed. And we work with that as in the one-to-one sessions. I used to be a Buddhist monk. I used to be a professional counselor. I have a lot of skills in guiding people to kind of feel better and to think better, to be more clear, to be happy, to remove obstructions and barriers and boundaries from their mind, right? To remove limitations. So that's really my main gift, is like helping people to move along on their own path, right? And so my group program gives them all the steps, and then the one-to-ones, we deal with anything else that comes up, including overwhelm and mindset issues.
Got it. Beautiful. So I love what you're all about, John, and I had the pleasure of meeting your partner, Michelle, who is absolutely lovely as well, and beautiful, high energy, both of you guys. I really connected on the energy level. I love your presence, and I love what you're all about. So I'm really glad that we connected. Very, very happy, and I definitely hope we can continue in touch and support each other. I was going to ask you, so if people have an interest in finding out more about your program and how you support people, your programs, I'm just familiarizing myself with what you have to offer, what would you suggest as a starting point? Should they reach out to you on Facebook? Do you have a website we could send them to? What would you suggest?
Yeah, we have a website, Lightworkers Legacy.
Oh, wow. I love it. Okay.
Lightworkers Legacy. So it's spelled out LIGHT, workers with F, legacy.com. And they can do a launch, and then money matters. Lightworkerslegacy.com/money matters.
Okay, so we actually you've created a little specialized website for our listeners on the show. Would they, lightworkerslegacy.com, I love it. So is that link live? I don't know. I know we didn't have a lot of time, as far as you know, like, is it live right now?
Yeah, so we have it on here. Anyone that comes in because of you, we want to give them. Okay, so if anyone does decide to join the program, there's a substantial discount because it's coming through you. We're friends with you. Okay, but also the page itself, this page has about 8 or 9 free valuable pieces of content on it. It has a masterclass, it has a 5-day challenge, it's got several workshops that we even charged for. And now we put the recordings on this page for free. So it's all there.
Okay, John, I don't think the link works as of yet. So as of now, should we just send people to lightworkerslegacy.com? Because right now we're just being sent to like, I know we didn't have a ton of time to get everything set up, and I don't blame you.
It'll be working very soon after this call is ending. So if you're on this live, be patient. And if you're watching the replay, and just make sure you use the www dot.
I see. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So yeah. I'm gonna, let me see how we can. Yeah. So with the dot in there, that might have been the problem too. I'll let you know. But in any case, I know it's. We didn't have a lot of time to prep, but I appreciate that you're willing to give our audience a special deal that you're gonna, and you're saying that on the website people can also get a gist for some of what your program entails. Tell us more about what they can expect to find on there.
Yeah, there's a free masterclass. The whole process of presence marketing. Presence marketing is a special key that helps coaches and healers to grow their business without lots of technology. So it's where you use presence within your marketing and marketing within your presence. Right, a lot of people approach it with just one or the other. Right, they try to just be present without any marketing, and so they kind of attract people, but they don't no one wants to buy high ticket programs from them. Or some people just use marketing with no presence, and that's where you end up chasing people or building websites and funnels and spending all your time locked into technology and not talking to ideal clients. So you need presence and marketing together. When you have these together, it becomes like a magnet. And then wherever you put yourself out there online, it draws people to you. And so that's why you don't need ads and you don't need anything complicated. You just need your own message. You need your presence and your marketing, which is like the words. You need that together, and you show up on social media, and people will see you, and they're going to be like, "Wow, I don't know what it is, but I want to work with her. I want to work with him. I don't know why, but I want to." Right?
So
that's from presence marketing, and my 30-minute masterclass on that page teaches that. That's only one of the items on the page. Then there's a 5-day challenge that Michelle and I created about abundance and visibility and finding your niche and becoming magnetic and also creating your offer. Those are in the 5-day challenge. Plus, there's other things that are even more spiritual offerings than that. There's a manifestation class, and there's one on balancing masculine and feminine energies. There's a bunch of really cool stuff on that page.
And this is a free resource for people, and then essentially
I don't always give it for free. I'm gonna give it for free to your audience. I don't always give it for free, but if they go to this page, they can get it all for free. Okay.
That's awesome. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. And so, and then if people choose to reach out to you individually, then you're able to.
My calendar link is all over that page. If you go to that page, you'll see my calendar. It's all over it, and it's very easy to just like click the button, fill out the form, and then we get on a call. So you'll call with either me or Michelle, my business partner, who you've met, Letitia. She's in a bunch of the videos on that page too. And so she's been doing a lot of these calls. So when you book a call, you'll probably end up talking to her, but maybe me. It depends. It's one of the two of us.
So is that initial call free of charge, if I may ask, John? Or is there a charge?
We like to do the first call free. It's just a way to get to know somebody. We want to figure out if we're the right fit to help you, and if you're a good fit for us. We only like working with people who we want to help them to grow their mission, right? If someone has a big mission in the world and they have all these people that they're ready to help and they just need help with the business side of things, we want to be the ones that helps to take you to the world. We want to do that, and we want to make sure that you're the right fit for us to put our time and energy into, and vice versa, right? So the first call is a free connection call, and then we take it from there.
I love it, John. Thank you. I really love what you guys are up to. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for supporting to bring more light, more healing into the world. And I think it's such an important mission that you've chosen to take on. And I'm sure it's come to you. You've done a lot of soul searching in your life. 5-6 years as a Buddhist monk. I mean, yeah, I look at you, you don't exactly look like you came from that part of the world. So, I mean, you've obviously been on this journey. And it's brought you to your mission.
It's been a great journey. So I started to awaken a little bit back in 2008. And what I realized is I wanted to be a therapist. At that time, my goal was I'm going to be a therapist. And I was really, really good at psychology. I love psychology a lot. And so I got on track to be a therapist, and along the way, I needed to get some real practical experience. And so I got a job, I got certified, and I got a job as a substance abuse counselor. Wow. So I started helping people who were addicted to drugs and alcohol, and I was really good at it, even though I was brand new. And one of my clients is the one who told me about the Buddhist temple. And during my first year of awakening, I started to get very interested in spiritual things, but it was like a latent interest. It was like dormant, right? And so my client told me there's a Buddhist temple right up the road. It's only 15 minutes away. It's very beautiful. He's like, it's the only one like it in the whole country. Just go see it. And so I did, and I basically never left. That was in January 2012. And I never really left. I moved in within a month, and I lived there for 4.5 years. I became a monk. Halfway through that time, I did countless retreats. I joined teacher training program. I started teaching meditation classes. I've been teaching meditation regularly since 2013 at a very, very high level. These are not just basic beginner classes. They're high-level meditation classes. Since 2013, I've been doing that consistently.
Wow.
And so that's been my main journey. In 2017, I was a full-time Buddhist teacher. I was teaching 8 classes a week.
I'm sorry. Sorry. I don't know.
It's okay. My journey's been really great, and I love sharing it with people, and I love sharing the part of like how I took all that inner wealth and turned it into like meaningful wealth in the world, where I was making money with the business. And so I want to share the process, and so that's what I do. I fell in love with the marketing that I was learning along the way, and so now I really focus a lot on the marketing when I help my clients.
Amazing. Listen, John, it's been a pleasure. I've promised my audience that I'm going to try to keep my webinars a little bit shorter than before, because I used to do hour-long webinars, and I realized everybody's got busy lives, especially during the week. So in the interest of respecting people's busy schedules, I appreciate everyone who tuned in or who will be watching this after the fact. And I very much appreciate your presence, John, and that you've shared some of your insights with us. And I'm sure everyone who chooses to follow the link and connect with you further will be very happy they did so. So, and I look forward to connecting further with you and Michelle, and hopefully having either the both of you or her joining us on a call separately. You guys make a great team, and I'm really grateful that we've had the pleasure of connecting. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, John. We'll be in touch shortly, okay? And thanks everyone for tuning in, and look forward to seeing you on future editions of Money Matters. Bless you all. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Cheers. Bye, everybody. Bye.